Welcome to RedRum Radio.
RedRum! 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 Stop it! RedRum! RedRum!
Hello, we are back.
Hi. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I've missed doing this, and I know a lot of you guys have because people have been asking me.
I know.
Have they been asking you?
Yes, all the time. They're like, when are you going to record again? When's the next episode? We kind of left you guys hanging.
Yeah, dude. I don't even know how long it's been, but it's been...
We just did.
Yeah, we just... There's been a lot going on, and, you know, life gets in the way sometimes, but we are back, hopefully, every week. I don't know. Let's not promise anything.
Yeah, no promises this time.
Yeah,
so
but...
you guys don't complain to us.
Yeah, but we're here, and I'm so excited. I really missed recording, especially because people have been like, why did you guys stop? Like, you know, like, and then we have...
I wonder if they thought that we were, like, beefing, you know? Every time something good happens, like, a good band is out, and then, like, the, like, members, like,
I never thought of that. Because, yeah, we really did. And then I haven't been posting, not even on the page or anything, so...
Yeah, we just... disappeared.
Yeah, but no, we're here, we're back, we're alive.
During this entire time, we've been trying to record and we've been trying to plan things. Remember we were trying to go up to the Ortega Mountains?
Yeah.
That would have been like such a cool investigation, but...
I told your brother about that, and he was like, yeah. I told your brother, and he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah,
what'd he say? Because he had experiences there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I was telling him that we wanted to go because... I was like, I don't remember if she found the book. He was like, I found that fucking book.
No, yeah, it wasn't me. It was him and Fred.
Yeah,
with my
dad. He was like, you guys are fucking crazy, and I was like, yeah, that's the point. The point is to go and, you know, fucking live a little, see what happens.
You know what? I just started. Well, I knew her, but I met her like officially where we like talked. This woman, and she was telling me that when she was a teenager, she and her friends would get together and they would go to the Midgetville, is what they called it. That there's like a town around here where there's a bunch of little people. They have their own little...
But not like duendes.
No, like little people.
Okay.
And that they would just go and fuck with them. they would just show up to go look at them, and then they would get mad and start throwing rocks at them and stuff.
But why would you have your own town if you wouldn't and not expect people to like go in? I mean, I could see how they would get mad, and it's like...
Well, maybe they have the town because they don't want to get picked on, so it's like their little safe haven. And then like we're all the spectators over there just watching. And I was like, what? That was around here? She's like, yeah. And then she started telling me all these really like cool areas around here, like the one that I think we've talked about with the bus that had like the little kids died in.
Yeah.
And like you could take Gravity Hill, I think it's called.
Where is that?
It's somewhere over there in Mobile off of Redlands.
It's here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude,
I've never been, so I don't know.
And where that girl, the one from Vista, high school, we were supposed to go do that too?
It's around there too. And then also around that same area is I guess it was an elementary school, where one of the teachers or someone went crazy.
Renee told us about that.
Yes.
On Redlands, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That whole area. And their house, they had a house that they rented there.
Should we go today?
And it burnt down. That house was, like, super haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told me it was like he said it was like a barn house, like a house in the back, no?
Oh, yeah, the high school. It turned into, it was a school, elementary school, high school, I don't know what kind of school. I think it was elementary school because the people like dragged all the little kids into the barn, and that's where they like executed all of them. But we
always get like way out of subject.
I know. Anyways, so we had all of these things planned that we wanted to talk to you guys about. All of these topics, they're hot topics. They're in our area.
Close.
So we've been trying to like hit up all like the IE haunted areas, but life, man, it's hard. It's hard, and you know, just.
So much good and so much bad has happened in this time, but I mean, I'm sure you guys understand, you know, but we're gonna try again because I think we're in a good space now where things are kind of, ¿cómo se dice?
Yeah, we're like, we can make it stable now.
Yeah.
Because before it was a little more unpredictable.
Yeah, we both had our things going, but I think now we're going to try a little bit harder for you guys. And it's a good distraction for both of us. And a good little hobby.
Yes. So today, I was talking to Cindy about the Demon House. And she had told me that she had not heard of it. So in 2011, there had been like reports about this by a woman named LaToya.
This is where it started?
Mm-hmm.
When it started?
When she started reporting things happening in that house. That I guess that's when she moved in. Mm-hmm. So she's thinking that this house, previously, before they moved in, the previous owners, they did some sort of ceremony there that opened up a portal and released 200 demons. So she made it public in 2014. So about 3 years later, because things started like getting worse and worse.
And she was living there the whole time?
Yes, with her 2 or 3 kids. And she was just having like bad experiences. She would have the priest come and anoint the house. And it just kept amping everything up. Everything kept getting worse. One of her sons... No. I'm getting off topic there. Anyways, so this house ended up affecting the kids the most. She had an exorcism done on her twice. And it like helped her enough to like get herself out of the house. But the kids were having psychological problems that she would take them to the hospital. The social workers would come to the house. Social workers saw things happening in the house and in the hospital that they were trying to take the kids away from her because she thought she was crazy. And once they started seeing
like
it,
abusing them and
yeah,
stuff?
like she's like, what the heck's happening? So
yeah.
So they were trying to take the kids away from her, and in one of the they couldn't because they had proof of like social workers and law enforcement, doctors, nurses, all these people witnessed things that happened to these kids that were unexplainable. And one of them being like her son got so possessed, started saying things. Both of her kids were doing this, but he ended up in the hospital where he started fighting the nurses and everybody in there. So he ended up stepping back and walking on the wall backwards.
Do you know how old they were? Did they say? Were they little?
I can look it up right now. They were little. They were about like 7, 8 years old. They were young.
That's crazy.
So from there, that's when she was like, that's it. I'm fucking out of that house. So she did, and she moved like 150 miles away to another area. But at this point, because it became such a public thing, she was on the news, like, so it's like more of, people started speculating, you know, like, she's doing for the attention. Is she doing, like, what's really happening here? So Zach Bagans was getting calls left and right ever since then. And so he was like, fuck it, you know, like, let's go check it out. And he actually bought the house before he even went to go look at it. So he bought it over.
Oh, that's what it said when we saw the trailer. He's like, I bought the house sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And she had already been out of there, right?
Yeah. She had already been out of there. So, you know, these houses, if they're left alone for a little too long, you get squatters.
Yeah.
So he pulls up and starts talking to the people that are squatting there. And they're like, no, we haven't had any issues. Like, she's just doing it for attention. No, you know? And then they even went as far as saying, like, oh, people have been offering us movie deals, like the squatters that are there. Like, they've been offering us to, like, be part of it or help them, but we have to give them information. But nothing's happened. They, like, legit just, like, boop, everything out the window. Everything that had been said by this woman and the social worker and the cops and the doctors and nurses that were all involved, just, like, that credibility just supposedly went out the window.
Yeah.
But he's just like, that's kind of weird, you know? But then again, it's like, maybe they're saying that so they don't have to leave, you know?
Right.
So Zach ends up paying him off to get him out, to get him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he pays him off, the boyfriend of the woman that was there, he's like, I got some stories to tell you. like, now that he's all happy because he got paid out, he's like, started telling him, like, yeah, we hear growling, we hear noises. I don't go into the basement. It's just like something that we just stay away from. And he's like, oh, all of a sudden, like, you have stories. Now is it because they want to be part of it? Like, it just didn't make sense how you went from no to yes.
Yeah.
So that's why Zach was just like, I don't 100% believe it. Like, I'm going to have to do my own lockdown. So he does that. But before that, he's trying to talk to the woman, and she doesn't want to be part of it. It turns out that she already had signed a contract where she was going to assist with making a movie about it. So she couldn't talk to Zach about it, but her brother did. Her brother came out, and he's like, yeah, I would tell my sister to get out of there. Those kids were suffering there, and ever since they've been here, like, they like recovered. So Zach goes back to the house, and he's just like, well, you know, he brings in, he gets a text message from a medium that she tells him, don't go into that house. It's going to be your worst mistake. This house has 200 demons in it. I got a vision, and I heard, you know, through the grapevine that you bought this house. So be very careful. Like, just get rid of it. Don't go in there. And that couple, it was a couple that were together. They died. They ended up dying shortly after.
The medium people?
Mm-hmm. They died shortly after. Murder-suicide.
What?
The man ended up killing the medium.
What?
Yeah, and then outed himself after. Yeah. Fucking crazy. And so Zach is like, what the hell? Last thing she tells me is a fucking warning, and then boom, she's dead. And so that's the thing about this house. Whoever gets involved with this house has things happen to them after the fact. So that was huge red flag there. Like, what the fuck? So then
like, there has to be something
that affects it beyond just like something that goes home with you. Yeah. You know? So if there is that many fucking demons, like, there's plenty to spare at that point. The officer, I believe he ended up getting shot. He lived, but he got shot shortly after doing that investigation there. He had done a little walkthrough. The police officer had tried to, like, figure out what was happening because they kept getting a lot of calls about this house having a lot of activity, people breaking in, but there's no one there.
Just, like, neighbors hearing stuff?
Yeah. So he goes and, like, he was just, like, hearing things, like, little footsteps, and he's like, something about that downstairs really caught his attention because he went down there, and the basement has cement everywhere, and there's a back bedroom down there. And when he was walking up the stairs, he's like, wait a minute, why is there dirt underneath the staircase? So if the whole thing is already, like, they have cement, why would they not put cement there?
Oh, it was, like, not cemented?
It's
like,
not
the
cemented.
little
It's
piece
just, yeah.
under the stairs?
Mm-hmm. So it was a square. So then from there, he's like, that's strange. And that he looked in there with his flashlight, and he found fingernails. He saw fingernails. He specifically said pink fingernails, like the press-on ones. A woman's pair of panties. And, a tray with a candle in it. So he's like, oh, yeah, that's some sort of work. Like, something was happening here. Yeah. So that is kind of like the root of this entire house. They're thinking that staircase, that plot of land that's there, that was unearthed by the, you know, whoever took the cement off, or if they just left it like that. They're thinking that is the root of it. So they start the investigation, and they're getting so many people to, like, tell their story, their, like, all their experiences there. And every person, they had another woman, a social worker that went, and she ended up walking out because the kid starts doing all kinds of weird things. Latoya's kids start doing all kinds of weird things. She got scared. She got spooked, so she left. She gets into a horrible motorcycle accident right after that.
What?
She lives, but she's, like, suffers. She breaks ribs, everything. The police officer, like I mentioned, that did the walkthrough and saw the dirt, he ends up getting shot right after. And then another social worker, the priest, he fell really ill. Like his organs just started failing, just in the middle of everything. Like just he was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Organ failure everywhere. He was even recorded saying, "I was perfectly fine, and if I die, it's because of that house." So everyone getting involved in this house is getting sick one way or another, or getting hurt. So then Zach is just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, everyone's just like, everyone's like connected to some way or another to this house.
And in the middle of all of this happening, as he's recording this documentary, a family pulls up, a mom with her 2 kids. And those 2 kids want to go inside the house with their mom because the mom grew up there. And she's like, yeah, the house is always like a little weird. I would never go into the basement. I was always so scared when I was growing up. I would never go in there. But it was like weird, but nothing like out of the norm, you know. She said that she had a sleepover once with a friend, and the friend told her that she would hear footsteps. But she's like, I never really like had an experience like that, but you know,
like people weren't climbing the walls.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing extreme like that.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, and then she's like asking permission if she could go in there and look at it. She wanted to show it to her kids where she grew up, and the kids are walking around, and then they go downstairs into the basement, and then the daughter starts asking questions along the lines of, well, how'd you get into like, you know, all this stuff like paranormal hunting, and he's like trying to like be short about it.
She's asking Zach. Mm-hmm. And they're older? The kids?
She's probably like 15, 15, and the son is probably like 12, 13. They're close in age, but they're in like teens. And she's like, can we do that right now? Can we turn off the lights and like get that camera, like the green and black camera? Yeah. And he's like, oh, you want to do an investigation? He's like, nah, we can't do that. Like, it's too dangerous. Especially with this house, we don't know what it could hold. Right. Like, but they all kind of just like joke about it, and they go back upstairs, and you could tell in the video the girl looks kind of like dazed, like a little confused, lost, just getting lost in her thought. Zach gets a call like a week later. The little girl tried to commit suicide.
No.
And he goes and talks to her after the fact, after, you know, she survived, and he's like, do you remember you were asking all these questions? Do you remember like what, you know, going to the house, he said to my house, and saying all these things?
Yeah.
She's like, kind of. And so then they had to do like a little mini exorcism kind of thing on her. Like
blessing her or whatever?
Yes. And I'm telling you, it's just like, this documentary is almost 2 hours. It's just like one thing after another. So then he finally does his own like lockdown in this house. He legit gets locked in. They boarded the windows, the doors, everything, and he's in there and he's walking around, and you hear little things, little noises, cracks here and there, but it's an old house, so you don't really think much of it. He's sitting on the couch or on the bed, and then he hears a growl. Mm-hmm. And this growl is like, it sounds like an animal.
Is he by himself, or does he have a team? He locks himself in.
This time he did it by himself. God. Oh, and I forgot to say before that, he had to actually fire one of his members because one of his members was like attacking him. Like, apparently this guy ends up getting possessed, and because he's a cameraman, he starts acting weird. You could see him in other like cameras that they set up, that he's just like doing the same thing, getting lost in his thoughts, walking back and forth. He walks downstairs into the basement by himself. Like, he starts like acting out of character. Yeah. And then they get to the hotel, and he starts like just screaming and yelling and cursing, and he's yelling at something in the elevator. He opens the door, and he's like, F you this and F you that, like, just you're being a little B because you be like, show yourself, like, you know. But he's just making a big scene. Security's trying to like come and help. They end up dragging him into the room, and they like talk to him. He's like, I don't want any cameras, but they still have the voice that's recording him, and he's just like, it doesn't want me. It wants you. And I guess at that point, Zach had said that he had a dream where he saw this devil, goat-like, over 6 feet tall, demon thing in his dream. And that this guy, he hadn't told anyone, this guy tells him and looks at it, Zach, and he's like, he wants you. And then he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, he wants him. I think you know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. And like, he looks at him like, what the hell? Like, how would he know what, like, that I had that dream? Like, I didn't talk to him like that. He's not even one of the close cameramans. He's like one of the ones that like nobody ever really sees, you know? So at that point, he's like saying all these things. He feels like something touch him. And then so he ends up attacking another crew member, and Zach ends up having to fire him. So his whole life turned upside down too. Like, he's like all satanic now. He got like the 666 tatted on that same hand that he
like was touched.
Oh
my god.
He's all goth now, like legit. Like his whole demeanor, the way that he looked in the documentary to like what he looked like now, so different. Like, just changed.
Fuck. Could you imagine that shit happening to you?
Oh my gosh.
And you're like hella emo?
No.
And you're like 666 on your forehead?
On my forehead.
That's wild.
Dude, that's like commitment to that shit, you know? So he does the lockdown. I'm going to go back now to that because that's towards the last part. But he does the lockdown and he goes into the basement. He's doing it. And he starts hearing the growls, like it said. He sounded like an animal. And he's like yelling at it, like, stay away. And you could see in one of the cameras the shadow of something coming towards him. After the shadow happens, he's like screaming and yelling. He threw something at it. He gets up. He turns on all the lights. He starts screaming. Like, you could tell, like, that scream of desperation of like, someone please help me.
Yeah. He
was like, get me the fuck out of this fucking house. And he's holding his head and his eyes, and he's like, my head hurts, my eyes are burning, they're on fire, this is and that. And he ends up having to go to the hospital because of this feeling he's having. And he has a double vision. He said that in the middle of him being in the hospital, his eyes started crossing, like getting cross-eyed,
right, and
causing the double vision. And so they told him that they did the CT scans, all the scans that they could have done on him. There's no explanation to why this could have happened scientifically.
And out of nowhere, right?
Out of nowhere. And that he was going to have to wear prism glasses forever now, because if he tried to do any surgery, he wasn't going to have a good successful rate.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He said that when he saw it, that thing coming towards him, which is the same thing that he saw in his dream, which is the same thing that the other guy said, and which is also in the text message of the woman, the medium that died, sent to him, that it was this giant thing. And the way that she described it is everything that he saw, like fucking goat head, giant, like body, just like a standing goat, like just
like your typical shit they use in the movies.
Yes.
Like the demon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So all three of them basically described and saw the same thing, and when he saw it, that's when that happened with his brain, with his eyes. I mean, I feel like his brain just fucking went into trauma mode or survival mode, and it's like, don't look at that, and just like covered his eyes and like tried to avert it. Like, I don't know, his brain tried to like save him. And you could see like the shadow of in the video, like clearly, and it's like pretty big.
Yeah. Could you imagine, dude? Like, I was watching this TikTok. I don't know if you've seen it. That if it's come up on your feed, it's like, oh, tell me the worst horror story that's ever happened. It's like a duet, and it was some lady, and she was talking about how they used to live in a house, and long story short, she saw a demon, and it was like the goat head, the human body.
Oh my god.
She was like, I walked into like her living room and she saw it or somewhere.
That's freaky. I think that's freaky because
But that shit can only happen to like certain fucking, like, that doesn't just appear to anybody.
No.
What do you feel like? You think it's the person or the place that you're at, or both?
I think it's both. I think like the collaboration of both of them like just amplifies it, which is why your brain like allows it for you to be able to see it.
So do you think like if you're like, for example, you're here at home and you're like, you're so into shit like this, or we're talking about things like this, and like say you fucking walk into a room and you think you'll be something like that will just appear on you?
I feel like the reason why it appears the way that it does is because that's what we fear and that's what we've been told it looks like. But I've told you this before, where I had the experience where I saw what I considered the devil, and he didn't look like that.
Yeah.
He looked fucking handsome. Like, he just looked like fucking pristine, clean, just gorgeous human being.
Like Eric from The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, but like a goth version of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is hot, you know, like
what you
attractive.
want, right?
I don't know, because I was like, when it happened, I was definitely not thinking about seeing him or seeing anyone that looked like him. So maybe a demon is different. Maybe a demon can, I feel like maybe a demon does look like that, and we all think that the devil looks like that with the horns and the fucking hoof feet and all that. But maybe it's the demons around him. I don't know. It's freaky. Hopefully that doesn't happen here.
Dude, I would fucking shit my pants.
Hell yeah.
I would burn the fucking house and all this shit in it and never come back.
I would never come back until I knew like that it was fucking exercised to the.
But even then, you've seen that like stuff that doesn't work.
I know.
Like in the Exorcist movie, not the Exorcist one, the fucking Conjuring one. When they do an exorcism on the little boy and then it just goes into the other dude. Oh
yeah, well that's the thing about exorcisms. I'm actually reading a book called Hostage to the Devil, and the thing with exorcisms is like they have to have another host to go into. When you're doing an exorcism, the priest is almost using himself as a vessel to like not allow him to go into them, but like to use them to like leave. So in a sense, like, yeah, they're gonna get attached to them. Have you seen the movie The Rite?
No.
Oh my god.
I think you've been telling me about that forever.
You need to watch that movie. So same thing, like he's a priest, he ends up getting possessed at the end. Todo por tal de salvar a that girl. But this book too, Hostage to the Devil, the man is explaining that the devil the demon, devil, whatever is there that they're trying to exorcise out of the human, has to be able to go into something else. Otherwise, it just lingers in the area. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what good is it if you're gonna freaking get an exorcism in your fucking house and then it's still gonna be haunted, you know? Because it's like now it's just floating around, trying to find whoever's the next victim.
So that's why, like, sometimes they say you leave the house because you think it's the house, but then it'll go with you.
Mm-hmm. It just attached to you.
So there's not because I mean I guess it makes sense in every movie. It's not like you kill it.
No.
Like it's either goes back to hell or whatever, and then in the second movie, somebody opens a portal and it comes back.
Yep.
And then you just put it away again.
I feel like you just have to put it into those, I believe they're called divot boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that you get on the black market?
Yes.
Or what is it called? The black web?
Yeah, the black web.
Dude, that's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine you're just like, a ver si me toca algo bueno. Like
I know, like
lottery ticket or something, and then it's like fucking demon. Who
would ever open a oh no. We saw a box that looked like a divot box at that antique store I was just telling you about, in Beaumont. It looked like a divot box. It wasn't. But Renee's like, oh, look at divot box. Let me open it. I was like, the fact that you're even inviting it to come out, Even if it's not, like, I feel like you're already using it as
I think I've asked you before what it looked like.
A Dippet box?
Yeah.
It's just a box. It's just a regular box. It could be anything. Usually they look like it's like a wooden box that has a specific lid, and a little lock and stuff, and it has a warning on it, or yeah, but not all of them do. Some of them just look like a regular wooden box.
I think a good person would probably put a warning on it.
Yeah.
As somebody that's like,
sometimes they're like the like, they kind of look like jewelry boxes, like the wooden ones that have like the double doors. Sometimes it could look like anything.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's not like a specific one. It's like any box at that point. You're just trying to trap
I feel like
it.
you would buy one.
Fuck no.
At an antique store.
On accident. But not like on purpose. I'm like, oh, my jewelry, and I open it to put my rings in there, and then boom, possessed.
You're like,
no, hell no. Yeah, so when he was joking about that, I was like, you better not. Don't
mess with it, huh?
Yeah, we were watching this other the latest episode of Ghost Adventures last week, and I was so upset because they kept repeating the demon's name, and I'm not a fan of saying demon names at all. Like,
I don't do that either,
because that's just like calling them to come over, like, and I told Renee, I was like, it sounds silly, but to me it was so real. It's like, after watching this episode, I need to do like a freaking Padre Nuestro with you. Like, we like held hands and said the Padre Nuestro together, because I was like, I am not gonna fucking let that shit. They said it like 5-10 times.
And it's like, maybe you're not the one saying it, or they're not physically here saying it with you, but it's being announced in your home.
And how do they? Think about it. How do they communicate with ghosts? Through static.
Yeah.
TV, radios, all of this stuff, like the movie White Noise. That it's all static. The white noise is how they communicate with the ones beyond, because you're going into that like spectrum or whatever that they could they could communicate with. So I'm like, the TV is the number one place where it's vibration, sound, and it's electronic that they could communicate with. The hell yeah, they'd be like, oh, they called me? I'm coming over, And I was like, And I told Renee, I was like, I love watching Ghost Adventures. I love watching all that. My favorite movies are like Exorcist movies. Those types of movies are my favorite. But the minute that they start saying demon names, I'm out.
It makes you like...
I'm out. Because that's not easy, like getting rid of a regular ghost, or like someone that's passed away and hasn't moved forward. Especially I believe there's 6 of them. There's 6 major demons, and they all obviously have their name, and each one have their own role on how they play certain things. And that house that they were investigating had a demon, and that demon, the minute I heard the name, and I heard that, because the person that was living there is like, oh yeah, I heard this name in my head, and that he said it, and I was like,
is that this documentary that we're talking about?
This is another one. This is a Ghost Adventures from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as soon as he said the name, I was like, oh no. And Renee's like, what? I was like, that's a demon name. And then I looked over at the screen again on the TV, and freaking Zach's face and all his cast were like wide-eyed. They looked like they just saw a ghost.
Yeah. And
they're like, do you know what that name means? And the guy was like, yeah, I called them. I'm like, okay, we're over here trying to do an investigation on why your house is haunted, and you just told us now that you're the one that fucking invoked this fucking demon to come? It was all fucked up. Okay, you need to watch it.
Yeah. I was gonna start some questions, but I'm just gonna watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's that one's really... I thought it was really good. I wouldn't say there's like a ton of evidence the way that other episodes have, but I feel like that's what makes it realistic, because you're not always going to get like all the evidence you want to get when you're doing an investigation. Sometimes it takes multiple investigations to get evidence. But the backstory on that episode was the best part.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, y'all are stupid. Like, because I guess that they were blaming it on the daughter opening up a portal. And then later, the dad comes out of nowhere and it's like, yeah, I do recognize that name because I called them. And as soon I'm watching them, like the mom, the daughter, and the dad. And the minute that the dad was like, yeah, I called them, I looked over at the daughter and she just had this little smirk. I'm like, that bitch is fucking possessed. Like, you could tell, like, she's loving this type of, like, talk.
Yeah.
I feel like she enjoyed seeing everyone so confused. She enjoyed bringing this conversation up. And I feel like that wasn't her. I mean, if it was, she's fucking crazy. But I feel like she was just more, like, if it was, like, whatever's in her was enjoying that they were taunting all these people around. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But going back to the demon house, so many things happened. People died. Oh, I didn't tell you that lady that had the daughter that tried to commit suicide.
The one that she grew up there?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When she was growing up there, her brother lived in that basement room. And he ended up getting shot and dying. So she always correlated, like, her fear of that room because of, you know, that's where her brother lived and he died. But I'm like, okay, every single person that has come into contact with this freaking house has some sort of backstory of something tragic happening to them in their life soon after or during. And so towards the end of the documentary, Zach talks about, like, you know, finishing the documentary or finishing the investigation, and they demolished the house. They demolished it, and there are still reports that say that people go to that land to do seances.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All those.
Of course they would.
Yeah, especially now.
Not?
So people are doing that, and they're still doing, like, sacrifices. I don't know, but
did it show after they demolished it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a lot, just an empty lot.
And he was the one that decided to do that.
Mm-hmm. And of course, him being who he is, you know how he has that museum, and guess what he took with him?
The staircase. No way.
And some dirt.
Fuck.
That was ballsy. Whether or not it's real, you know, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in any of this being real. Whether or not it is, like, this fool has a whole ass motherfucking collection, a museum of just haunted shit. And he just, like, comes and goes. I don't know.
And the only thing that's happened to him is he has to wear fucking glasses now.
Yeah.
In his whole career of fucking...
Well, I mean, he's been haunted, and do you remember when he first started the series? He was all buff and built.
Honestly, I don't really follow him.
Oh. He used to be, like, super buff and built. He would, like taking care of his body like that. And if you look at him now, he's all scrawny. Se mira bien acabado. Acabado. Like, he just invests so much into this that, like...
He's like obsessed. Like, it's like, I feel like at some point it's just so, it has to be so fucking bad for his health. His mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And his physical health. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that he's still, like, I mean, quien sabe, you know, if he's okay or not, but...
I don't think he is.
But the fact that he's, like, it's just, like, an obsession.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But, like I said, like, the fact that physically the only thing that's, well, I don't know, but that is... from what I know that you've told me that he just had to wear, that shit happened to him, he has to wear glasses and nothing else, and all these bad things have happened to people surrounding him.
Well, he had an incident where his airplane almost fell. Like, he almost died in an airplane accident too, and that's why his new series, it's called House Calls, he doesn't go. If he has to fly anywhere, he won't. He'll go to anywhere that's, like, driving distance. But if it's, like, another state across, like, in the East Coast or something, he won't go. He'll just send his crew because he had a near-death experience in an airplane.
Do you think that maybe...
And it was after him and Post Malone opened a Dibbit box.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Right after that.
Yeah, you told me about that.
So... I wouldn't say he's been completely unscathed.
Do you think that maybe like all this bad shit and demons and fucking ghosts or whatever you want to call them are kind of maybe keeping him safe to
continue?
Yeah. And to maybe like make themselves known to everybody, to the world?
Maybe.
Since he has so much like
maybe
clout.
he made a deal with the devil. I'll give you clout if you give me clout.
Yeah.
And he'll probably keep recording until the day that he dies.
Yeah.
And he won't stop until he does. I mean, who knows?
It makes sense.
But he's very much like about what's that Palo Santo? He uses that shit on himself all the time. He's always praying.
Like sage and shit or what?
Palo Santo is it's not, I don't know if it's sage. Let me Google that up. Let's see.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Palo Santo.
But is he more of like good vibes and stuff? Or is he like into, I feel like you have to be, he doesn't seem like he's like a churchgoer.
I feel like he's like, he believes in a greater power, and hopefully it's God. Like our God.
Yeah. Does it say?
It's these tropical dry
okay, so it's kind of like fucking sage.
Well, it's legit like a stick.
Okay.
But in the sense of like, yeah, you burn it and
it's cleansing you.
It cleanses, yeah.
Of the bad
it says the magic of Palo Santo, holistic. What is it used for?
So he's more of that, like,
yeah,
naturally cleansing yourself of bad energy type of shit.
So it says Palo Santo is traditionally a natural remedy that you can apply to your skin or burn as an incense to reduce pain, inflammation, and stress. For holistic users, I feel like that is what they use it for. Effects on house. Burning Palo Santo is an effective way to cleanse and purify your home or personal space of any negative energy, while also providing a pleasant aroma. We need that.
Yeah, literally. That's crazy.
But yeah, so they've been really like on. I feel like they use Palo Santo a lot more than they do sage.
Yeah. I never heard of that though.
In his shows, I feel like that's one of the major things that they use. Yeah, that I definitely recommend it. You could probably watch the Demon House on YouTube. I know it's on one of the. If it's not Discovery, maybe it's Hulu or Amazon Prime. Has to have it, but
I feel like it's gonna be on Discovery. It sounds.
I feel like we looked it up on there and it wasn't, but that's where they have his other series.
And it's called
Demon House. The Demon House, yeah. Okay. But
well, if you guys are, I guess, into that, it sounds pretty legit.
I don't know. Like it was just like really like all of it was kind of like assumptions and like presumptions, and it was until you see it for yourself and you see that evidence and you see like the fact that you could even hear that growl, even if you didn't see anything. I would be fucking running out of there like the house was on fire.
Yeah,
I would be so scared.
Yeah. Well, you guys check it out if you want and let us know what you think. I'm probably gonna watch it and I'll maybe pin a comment and give my opinion on it. But thank you for sharing before I watched it. I'm like, I don't know if I'll watch it now that you told me the story. No, I will, because I want to see all that stuff.
You want to see all the details of it. I give you like a...
Yeah, that shit's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it that I know that I probably missed, but it's worth watching. And if you guys want us to review anything, they should give us any like hints, suggestions on like documentaries, and we could review them on here. If you want.
I feel like there hasn't really been a lot.
No,
honestly, and there hasn't even been any good movies out. I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
I know you don't really like watching movies, right?
Yeah, I don't really watch movies.
Yeah, I do. I fucking love movies.
I need something that like I could keep up with.
Did you watch the new Exorcist movie?
I started part of it. Just in the beginning up to where the girl was found.
Okay, yeah.
And then, you know, like the dad's like there and then the fucking demon thing comes out behind him.
Yeah.
That's as far as I got.
I think I watched it with Naya. I think we went to the movies and watched it.
I can't watch scary movies like in theaters because I hate this freaking sound. I get more scared over like the loud sounds and I hate that jump scare.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Even when I was watching it, I had to stop it because Renee fell asleep and he started snoring.
Oh my god.
He started snoring and I was like, hold on. Was that the demon or was that Renee? Like, I'm gonna wait for his ass to wake up.
Yeah. Well, let us know, like we said, if you have any suggestions, if you guys want us to talk about anything. And I miss this.
I know.
So hopefully we could do this again next week.
Hopefully all my explanation made sense to you guys.
I think you did. I think when I tell stories, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I forgot this. And oh yeah, wait, I'm out of order. My story, I suck at storytelling. I think you're a little bit better than me, so I think a lot of people would agree. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.